How can you use the Garmin dashboard to validate that you're getting enough sleep, both from a quality and a quantity standpoint? Let's take a look at this great question. If you have followed me for any period of time, you know I'm a big advocate of the Garmin watch, scale, and analytics dashboard. When we're looking at the subject of sleep, the beautiful part about Garmin is it's not only helping you understand what the workload is during the day, but it's able to provide a tremendous amount of insight in regards to both the quality and the quantity of your sleep. If you look at the screen right here, this is a snapshot that comes from the computer dashboard. I find it very user-friendly. I find it a little bit more comprehensive than the phone itself. Now, there's nothing wrong with the phone app. It's just when you're looking at it on the computer, it's easier to navigate around. And here's what I want you to take a look at. You have the ability to input what is your goal sleep. How many hours a night are you striving to get every day? When you come and you look at this 4-week report, you're able to get a very quick glance as how many days in a row, how many days out of the last 30 have you nailed your desirable amount of sleep. When you step back and you look at this entire 4-week window, the days that you've nailed the hours of sleep, I want you to now ask yourself the question, how did you make it happen? Is it about going to bed earlier or is it about waking up later? Some people kind of scoff at that question, but if we're looking at a month and you've nailed your desirable amount of sleep over the course of the month, let's say 95% of the time, my question to all my clients is always the same. How did you do it? When we look at the idea that you got yourself to bed on time, then we look at the quality of the sleep. If you look at the screen right here, this is what we refer to as a sleep ratio analysis. All we're doing is looking at the top left. How much total deep sleep did you get? Bottom right-hand corner, how much awake time did you have? And if you look at the top, it gives us clear insight as to how many hours of sleep you got last night. So when you hear me on my public podcast saying we need to look at both the quality and the quantity of sleep, this is the report that we're looking at every single day. So zoom out to what we've talked about so far. Are you getting the desirable amount of sleep every night? Now, by the way, when we say desirable, it has to be what's applicable to you as an individual. It's very easy for me to sit here and say, strive to get 9 hours of sleep. And you're like, Rob, you don't understand. I've got little ones, I've got work, I've got relationships. I understand. We don't live in a glass house. My question is, if you think that you can strive to get 9 hours, awesome. If you're able to do that 95% of the time, even better. If you can tell me how you're doing it in the past, you can keep doing it in the future. Then we look at the quality of your sleep. Go back to the illustration, top left-hand corner. Your goal is to get at least 2 hours of deep sleep. The bottom right-hand corner, the awake time, we'd like that to be less than 10 minutes. The reason for this is when you're in deep sleep, if you study this at any level, it's referred to as REM3, deep sleep. That's where your body releases growth hormone, the growth hormone HGH and testosterone. The awake time, we're trying to keep that to a minimum because anytime that you're disrupted during your sleep, you negatively impact the body's ability to rejuvenate mentally and physically. Step back and look at this next report. This is a report on how much you toss and turn at night. Now this one's interesting because we've been able to look at how much you toss and turn at night by the little black hash marks by simply decreasing the temperature in the room. If you get it down below 69 degrees Fahrenheit, 21, 22 degrees Celsius, you're going to sleep better, you're going to toss and turn less. When you satisfy hunger with protein and fat, you're going to toss and turn less. You're going to kind of see an overlapping that when you satisfy hunger, the room is dark and cold, void of any noises, particularly audible words. You're going to notice that the quality deep sleep number is going to go up. You see how we are reverse engineering high quality of sleep? You got to tell me when you're going to bed to get the 8 to 9 hours. You've got to show me what you're eating to satisfy hunger. Then we go and we actually look at the sleep data itself. How long did you get into deep sleep? What was the total cumulative time? Let me rephrase that. We look at deep sleep as how quickly can you get there? How long do you stay there? And what's the cumulative total of deep sleep? If we look at the amount of interruptions that you've had, is it just because your little one came into the room? Could be. There's nothing wrong with that. You're making sure that they feel safe and secure. But we always want to have an explanation as to what, when we look at the numbers, what contributes to those numbers. The last thing I want to talk about when we look at sleep is look at how much your body battery, if you look at the report here, how much has your body battery picked up since you went to bed? When you look at the idea that you're laying there in bed trying to rejuvenate your body, no pun intended, you're trying to recharge your batteries, I want you to look at the I always call it the mountain in the background, the black line. How is that elevating? Is it pretty consistent? Is it of a pretty high upward trajectory? Because when you're looking at the idea of rejuvenating the body battery, you guys go to your body battery report. If you look at this report, most of us have a tendency just to gravitate towards the dot at the top, the blue dot. And that's obviously our goal. But my question to you is, what's driving that blue dot up? Sleep and food are the only things that's going to drive that up. Unless the volume of stress the day before is too much for you to recover from. I mean, very simply put, if the stress is surpassing your body's ability to bounce back from it, now we're making two assumptions, that you're eating enough and you're sleeping enough. You could add also being properly hydrated. We're making that assumption that you're checking those three boxes. You're fed, you're rested, and you're hydrated. And now if the body battery doesn't go back up to 100, that just shows you that the stress on the other side of the equation is just too much. You simply can't bounce back from it. Now we put all those together, now we can evaluate sleep quality and quantity. We'll start seeing an improvement in your HRV. We'll start seeing a more consistent balance there. We'll see resting heart rate will start to level out a little bit. We'll see your stress score will drop below a 25. That doesn't accidentally happen, but I wanted to come back to the idea, when we're evaluating sleep, how do you make sure that your body's getting everything out of the time that you're giving it? Well, you have to evaluate the quality. What's the body battery and the rate that it's improving, elevating? What kind of impact is it having on your overall body battery number averages, i.e. taking how much is it dropping every day? We average those numbers out. How much are you picking up every day? We average those numbers out. I don't want to get stuck in the weeds. We're an analytics company. That's what we do for our clients. What I want you to be a student of is knowing what to look at on your Garmin dashboard when it comes to sleep. I hope this video has answered some questions. As always, if I've created more questions than I have answered for you, I want you to send me an email. contact@coachrob.com. We do put out a video every day here on YouTube, so I would encourage you to please like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Thank you for your time today, and we certainly look forward to seeing you tomorrow.